4 years ago, Jae decided that she was going to
purchase a company.
Yeah, but go into the real estate business.
Yes.
4 years ago, what a great timing.
I know.
And she bought a company that was founded many, many hundreds of years ago, and she and her partner Sean have built a very successful company in a short period of time and getting even more successful. And she's going to share with you some of the kind of the mindset and what accelerates the referrals by belonging to a community, like really being in community with people. So tell us the story.
Oh. Well, been a mortgage lender since 1994, and I met you, or introduced to Buyer for Only in 2000, March of 2000. And like Terry, it was one of those things where I went to this event and wow, I really just fit in, because here's a concept of building relationships with the people that I enjoyed helping and making a difference. And I joined right away at that main event. Back then, it was Long Beach main event. I still remember where that was. That was 14 years ago. And in the financial implosion of 2008, and I was a jumbo specialist. I specialized in doing loans over $1 million in Beverly Hills. And we looked at our business and said, wow, the jumbo business completely went through a decimation of about 3 months when the banks were trying to figure out what to do. And my business partner, Sean, and I looked at each other and said, wow, what are we going to do? And we actually said, you know what? I mean, I've been in the Buyer for Only community then for 9 years. And I said, I know and love real estate so much, and I think that we can build something really special. And at that same moment, Universe said, you know, here you go. The company that's been around since 1927, the third owner was a friend of Sean's, and said, you know, I need to retire. And the light bulb went off, and I said, we'll buy it. So there was nobody that was an heir to the family that wanted to take over the business, and so Sean and I purchased it and rebranded it, spent 2 days in a think tank, spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to come up with orange and blue as our colors, because we wanted to be different. We wanted to stand out and be a counterculture to what existed. And what existed was blue and white, or red, white, and blue, or red and white. And we came with a color that would kind of differentiate us from everyone else. And from that came, you know, and we were in Maui at that time. We had just finished the works on the construction of the office, and you said, we're going to do a week in Maui. Build your business, build your body, build your business. And I said, boy, can I leave right now? We've just signed the 5-year lease, and we're getting ready to open our doors in 1 more month, and you're going to take a week out before all that's going to go down, and we're going to spend a week in Maui with no cell phones, no technology, no kids, no husbands, and just spend a week just working on your mind. And we're going through one of these hikes, and Joe had asked, what's your path for 2012? And this is in October 2011, and I said, community. And he said, what's important about community to you? And I said, community, I want to build a community because I wanted to build someplace where people could feel they belong somewhere. And then Joe introduced the concept of it's a marathon, not a sprint. And over the next 30 years or 40 years, and for myself, based upon where I am, I said 30 years. I have a vision of looking back 30 years from now and being able to see the significance and the difference I made in the community that I currently practice. And in a very busy, high level town where you're either on your game, you're the best of the best, or you just don't have any business, you don't survive. And to provide meaning, deep meaning to the lives of the people that we help there, and fulfilling that day in and day out, and really not about let's do lunch and never doing it. It's all about let's have a community block party. Let's have get-togethers and really mean it. And fulfilling the promises that was made, and being a promise keeper, and doing as I say I'm going to do, just like the small town I grew up in, and bringing that little piece of Mayberry to Los Angeles.
Oh, it's amazing. If you could just grok the concept of belonging and the deep need for people to want to belong. Actually, there's been some wonderful work that I've read about that we feel most loved when we feel like we belong. And there's very rare moments in people's lives where they feel like they belong. It's usually when you're with a person who you share the same values, you share the same goal, and you share the same interest. When you have value, goals, and interests combined together, you feel like you belong. And so when people who live in a community are gathered with other people who live in the community, and they share that interest, they share the values of taking care of the community, planting trees on, and the goal of making it a beautiful community, you're giving people that sense of belonging, which they feel they really feel loved. You know, think in your own life, where do you feel like you belong?
Here?
Like you really belong. Yeah. And that's what we've designed, you know, most of our communities, so people feel like they share values, goals, and interests with other people, so they feel like they have a sense of belonging. So it's a wonderful place to start. And then look at what Jae's done to create that sense of belonging. So
we created our office and we donate our space. It's a very unique space because it's very, very big. Terry's always talked about how different it is, and she loves coming down to visit me. And it's a corner space on a street that has about 250,000 cars that drive by. It's a retail space on a very busy street. Every day.
Yeah.
In the heart of, in between Century City and Santa Monica. And so we have a lot of foot as well as car traffic that drives by, and we give our space every elections to vote. Voters come in, so our community in these borders have to come into our office if they're going to vote or drop off an absentee ballot. So it's one of those things where people get to visit our space, and it's about familiarity, and the more we donate and give to the community, the more comfortable people are coming in, the more they look around like, oh, I didn't know this was here. And they see our pictures on the wall, and everything's strategically placed in terms of the map of the area we serve, and the testimonials, and the thank you letters, and the content-testimonials, and pictures of our events, always scrolling on the TV, and they get to come in, it's like, wow, this is a different space, and I like it here, and oh, I see what they do. And so now we've had people come back and saying, I came to your place to vote, and my neighbor down the street, you know, she needs some help because she's going through some challenges. Someone passed away, and I see your probate specialist, or, you know, I see that you've listed my neighbor's house, or so forth. So the neighbors are comfortable coming in and now talking to us about, you know, having a conversation around real estate.
yeah,
So,
that's beautiful.
over the years. We do a great thing for the community. It's movie night, and we have our city council has different extensions, and I'm on what's called the Westside Neighborhood Council, and we have the same area that we cover. That's the same geographic area that we have our little micro climate of real estate in, and there's 17 of us on the board, and we sponsor movie night, which is 3 movies in the park, and is creating, again, these movie Mayberry experiences so that our kids can grow up having a community. We have a picnic, we do movie night, we donate the park, we donate a movie, and you see hundreds of families coming out in the summertime to watch a movie, chat with their neighbors. It's kind of, in Los Angeles, imagine there's 9 million people living in the county of Los Angeles. It's bigger than most states. And most people are busy, they're stressed out, they don't feel like belong anywhere. But when they come to these events and we build these forums of opportunity for people to come together and meet thy neighbor, hang out with their family, and really give that space, they can look around and think, wow, I really love it here. And that value is created because then the schools are better, you attract better families, which make the homes be more valuable. People come together then to beautify the street. Our street just got a grant for $2.2 million to beautify the section of Pico Boulevard where our office is on. Well, that isn't by accident, it's by hard work. And over the next 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, then 30 years, we have a train, we have a bike path, we have beautiful sidewalks. We're going to have trees that are now growing from 2 years ago of planting 85 trees. We have some of the voter things are parties. And we have pedestrian safety, we have, you know, upzoning. We have all these things that are going on in this little pocket that was unknown. Now it's very popular, and now Urban Home said that it's one of the top 10 areas, hot areas to kind of keep an eye on.
That's cool.
So.
How many of you can see this is beyond farming?
Yeah.
You know, this is not a monthly mailer to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, this is owning it, like really owning it. How many of you could see a possibility in your life of really owning a territory, like really owning it, as opposed to marketing to it?
Yeah.
Big shift there. What are we looking at, some of these folks here?
These are some of the parties that we've had at our office. This Sunday, we just had our huge Hyler Harvest Festival. We had just over 400 people come out, gave away 250 pumpkins. We had firefighters cook for us for 3 hours. We had slides, we had crafts, we had s'mores making, we had costume contests, we had our step and repeat, and people did their little photo ideas. I got the orange feather boa idea thanks to Aaron Drussel with his movie night ideas. We had some really fun ideas. And the beauty of this group is that we all get to hang out together and share the ideas. We see what one friend has done, and then we kind of bring it and take it and implement it ourselves and constantly grow every year with doing something fun and different. But the beauty is there's multiple facets of how we can get business in real estate. And it's either a job or it's your life. And I looked at it as, in '94, the light bulb went off. I was 24 years old, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I didn't want to be an engineer, and that's what I went to school for, to please my parents. And I happenstance came into finance because I said, oh, I love math and I love people. It's a good combination for me. But the light bulb went off when I said, wow, this is fun. I really enjoy this. This is a perfect fit for me. And I can see this being the vehicle to how I can make all my dreams come true. And that's what I realized back then when I first started in this business. And almost 20 years now later, I can proudly say that my life is my career and real estate is my life. And by merging it all together with all the joy, love, and passion and gratitude for what it has given me, 2 beautiful boys, a loving husband, an amazing business partner, and a community where we can think of all the fun ideas, like how can we make this as much fun as we can, give back as much as we can to the surrounding area, and by having fun, we have the best business. And not saying it's rosy every single day, obviously, but to look at every day, there's such joy and youthfulness in what we get to do. And I don't know if 20 years ago I would have realized that the more fun I have, the more business I get to have, because that's not what I was taught then. You taught us to have a life and to also have a business, but that your life can be your business and your business can be your life. And I've been able to weave what I call head knocking versus door knocking. And the more parties I throw, the more people I get to engage in, the more committees I'm involved in. And you've always said, people are starving for leadership, right? People really are starving for leadership. And I've discovered that the more I can utilize my skills in taking care of people in a leadership capacity, school, at the community, in everything, the more I can give back to the community around me, the more I get. And it's true, the slices bring loaves. But there's also a reason for the madness. It's not for everyone. You're right. I mean, there are all these other facets of things that people can do. I've chosen this because I enjoy it. I enjoy throwing parties and connecting with people.
And you've chosen this because it's your life lesson to learn this. You know, like, so when you grow up and you don't belong and you learn that the easiest way to find joy is
belonging.
Embrace what you need to learn. You know, like embrace it. And we all have that. And you embraced being part of a community, belonging, and you made it your intention to heal that part of you, and now look at everyone who's benefiting from that. I know it's amazing.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at some of your pictures here.
Oh, we had 3,000 people come out to this first, it's almost like a farmer's market street festival, And this was put together by Westside Neighborhood Council. We had just over 3,000, the firefighters said 3,000 or 4,000 people come out for this event. We had 60 businesses, 15 artists, all set up booths. And we worked from 5 in the morning until about 7 at night. I had this Fitbit thing. I logged about 15 miles that day, just walking back and forth, pacing.
Yeah.
I did a half marathon that day just from working this event.
Yeah.
And we had kid bands do a rock band concert and all kinds of things. But the beauty of doing these kinds of things is I had fun doing it, but then I have such connections from it. I gave back to the community, but then I also got business from it. And the win-win of all of it, not attached to the outcome.
Right.
And it's not about, ooh, I'm here to sell your home. It's all about how can I give and be the highest version of what I know how to be, which is to lead or help or give or make a difference. And just from showing up in that manner all the time, being punctual, being appropriate, dressed appropriately, or so forth. I mean, doing all the steps too in these capacities. Because volunteering is one thing, just being in the background, but showing up, taking on
Leading.
taking the hardest roles on. From there, people see what you're made of.
Yeah.
And when they do that, and you build the trust and you build the relationships, I built these relationships over the last 19 and a half years, and now I get to benefit from everything that has foundationally been laid from that. And I don't know if I would have been able to do that if I hadn't had Buyer for Only as a community in my life.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful evolution.
yeah.
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 Would you thank Jae? Would you give her a nice big round of applause? Awesome. Well, that was great. Just amazing. Just amazing. Best ever. Yeah.